What's good, YouTube? House of Champs here with Avery Foster. I think this is your second time on my channel.
Yep.
And what did you play this weekend?
PP, or Kid Cudi Day and Night. I'll show you why it's called that later.
Alright, let's get into it.
Alright, so I played one Joker. I only played one because you can only normal summon once per turn. If you play more, that's really bad. One Monkey Board, because you can't complete the Pendulum scale with two low scales unless you're trying to Wavering, and TBH, I'm not trying to Wavering this off. So like, I feel like more was just inconsistent. One Guitar Turtle. This card's awful outside of the Pot of Greed effect, so you really only need one. The only times you ever want more is if you want to pop this off against the mirror, that way you can Pot of Greed next turn versus just have this. But in the Dragon Slayer oriented build, it's not as much of a problem just because like, it's a lot easier to sit on Dinosaur. One Silverclaw. This was to out occasional nightmares, just problem cards, as well as just put in damage versus the mirror, because a lot of times people just leave stuff up. Beats over Magisters, which is actually really important, because against the mirror, if you leave a Magister up, they're probably winning the game. And so yeah, Silverclaw was really important during the weekend, but you don't want to play more than one, just because of the fact that it's not a good card to draw, but you want to have it there for that, and that you have a level 4 to Wavering off whenever you search off Joker. I have 3 Sorcerer. This card's expensive, so I play it. Play 2 Wizard Draw. This card is better than Gate Turtle because it has more attack points. Usually attack points translates to power, so this card's more powerful than Gate Turtle is.
And he also looks like Charmander. Who would get a Squirtle over a Charmander?
On the down low, I got Bulbasaur, but I think that means I'm gay, so... Sorry, babe. Shout out to the girlfriend. One Rabbit, it's not secret, so I don't want it. So after this profile, I'm probably trading this deck because I don't have a secret Rabbit. One Luster, I used to be proud to own this because they were expensive and I had 3 of them. But now they're not expensive and I have 1 of them. I played 3 Masters. That's the vanilla build with dyes and stuff. So this is really needed. The 3rd Master actually came up a lot because you run through them so quickly, even if you don't see Dire Decision. Just because previously you always had to like worry about resource management a lot more off of summoning off of Ignister, popping. You just always have the extra name, and it's a lot easier to make Dinosaur loops all the time. Yeah, like with Dinosaur Magister loops. 3 Vector, same thing. Vanillas, you always want your cards to be live, and it's cute against the mirror because you can make Dinosaur a lot easier, like I said in this deck. So if you make Dinosaur with this in the early game, it's hard for them to do that or to get through it if you have any kind of trap. Like that can just straight be auto win.
I'm sure you'll upgrade to the gold rare.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I need to show people I have money. Like previously owning these was cute. It's like, oh yeah, you have $20, $25 sitting around. Good for you, kid. But now it's like, I have gold rares. I can show off my bling. I need to be bling. Then I play 3 Maxi. Spanish ones on top because I want y'all to think I have foreign cards. Card was good all weekend. I didn't play against Cosmo, but even if I did, like, this isn't that bad against them anymore, just because, like, E-Telly into Tin Can's popular. If they E-Telly during the end phase, and you pitch this, it's just godly, because then they have to either give you a +1, or just level out, and then end with no board presence, which is just awful. So that's it for the monster. It's not it for the monsters. I play 1 Archfiend Eccentric. Everyone else loved this card a lot. I think this card's pretty good, but if they're just there to search off the Magister, Billy and a couple other people are playing 2 or 3 of this card, and like, yeah, shout out to Billy. Like, I think his deck was by far like the furthest ahead of like anyone else's here. He lost to Monarchs because not getting to play is fun. I can relate. Lost the chicken game, but yeah, like, card's good. You never really want to draw it. Same thing, you just want to always search it during the end phase with Magister, because ideally what you want to do is want to make a turn 1 board with all the Dracula Slayer stuff. They have to fight to get through that. If they don't, you outright win with that engine. But otherwise, you have back row removal, and you'll have a Joker or Monkey board just to continue your plays, so you'll always have a scale.
By the way, 6 out of the 8 high seeds lost the first round of Top Cut.
Yeah. all the credit and props to the people who went higher than us. Good job. But all the people that you kind of expected, not just because they ended higher, but like after just looking at names of the people who topped, you kind of just like, all right, these people are going to be the people who won it. In the first round, like 90% of them got knocked out, and then in the second, all of them were out. So, well, actually, except the guy in the finals, the one, he probably has his name, Oscar.
Oscar, yeah.
Yeah, shout out to him, really nice guy. Yeah, so like that's Yu-Gi-Oh! Sometimes. Like, I don't think there was anyone in top that was necessarily like bad at the game, or like not even that much of a sec, but it definitely shows that it's really easy when you're playing Pepe to lose to stuff you can't control. Like, that's the issue with this deck. It's the best deck by far. Every other deck is like awful in comparison, but you lose to a lot more in this deck that you can't control. So it's similar to like Necros in the sense that best deck in its format, but there's way too many games you lose that you just can't do anything about, and it's even worse than Necros in that sense, because in the Necros format, you lose things you can't control against other matchups, but against Necros, it's like, okay, cool, we both drew decent, we're good. And Pepe Mirror, you lose the stuff you can't control, like, for example, like my match against Jesse Flores, I just outright drew a lot better than him. Like, I went first, I opened the board, said he can't play. Game 2, similar thing, he went first, and he opened it all right, but it's like really, you can just draw it away with wavering where they don't get to play. Wavering is just an unfair problem. Alright, so on this lineup, I played 3 Upstart Goblin because I like seeing my expensive cards. That's another reason I played this. Because if you have money in your deck, then your opponent will be intimidated. And
you didn't get the memo. That's Gold Rare too.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, this deck's definitely gone. Yeah, I mean, like, do you know what the next expensive deck is?
No, Cosmo's gone. I guess you could play Phantom Knight.
That deck's bad.
Yeah, but it's expensive.
I mean, you're not wrong. I played 3 Painful Decision. I wish I played 2.
Now,
just for the clog.
If you're the yellow Ojama, who do you save?
From the yellow Ojama? Well, I've been putting a lot on this, and John brought this up to me before the match started. And my mat that I usually play on, like I play on throughout the entire tournament, is my Ojama mat. I know it's upside down here. Honestly, I feel like green Ojama is a lot cuter. Like, he's more of the star of the show than the black one is, just because of his bulge. So I'd have to say I saved the green one.
Sorry, Donnell.
Alright, so I play 3 face-off. This is the best card in the deck, and it helps me get to my expensive cards so that I can show off to my opponent and intimidate them. But it's not going to be good after gold comes out, just because this card isn't going to be expensive, so you can't intimidate them. 3 Wavering Eyes. I hate this card. Everyone who says not decided out is a bully. I guess I understand you're playing the Ariane build because it works even more so as a combo piece than it does in mine, even though like it is a combo piece in my deck. But it's just way too easy to win games that you can't do anything about. Like, if you draw, like, Instant Fusion if you're playing that, Unexpected Die, or, like, Draco Face-Off, you can play through Wavering Eyes, but otherwise it just becomes near impossible to play through this card because you have no way to actually bait stuff. So if they have scales, or even if they don't, you can't play through it. Like, the card's unfair. I try to get everyone to side it out, but people aren't willing. 2 Unexpected Die, or Unexpected Day, which is where the term day and night came from. This card was awful, but it helps me play like outside of just the Pendulum Summon and the normal summon, which is part of what this deck needed. Because this deck, just because of the effects of Magister, Ignister, and Dynaster, you can play after the Pendulum Summon, but this lets you play before the Pendulum Summon, because a lot of times the Pendulum Summon is the most important summon. So anytime like you draw this card, it just lets you play before it. Instant Fusion does similar thing, but the issue with Instant Fusion is obviously it's a potential break card turn 1 versus this card, which is always good turn 1. I mean, unless you draw it off Wizard Heat. That's number of spells. I have no idea how many. Your guess is as good as mine. Onto the trap lineup, I played 1 Bottomless. I didn't play Treacherous, and I didn't really miss it just because of the fact that your deck spits out Ignister better than any other build, so like it's a lot easier to out stuff on the field. And I realized that other builds were shifting away from focusing on Rafflesia as well. So the issue of same. The issue of like summoning Rafflesia for the sole purpose of outing your opponent's Rafflesia and Nightmare first, like just basically isn't even present anymore. I mean, like, it's still a card, but it's just not as popular and it's not as big of a problem. Like you're a lot more worried about these cards. These Yu-Gi-Oh cards are good. I feel like 4 is a good number. Like Billy was playing Chaos Trapple, which I like because it's good against Samir and Cosmo, and it's alright against Monarchs. Like it was a good tech for the weekend if you're playing Ariadne. Like just so you always have stuff to search for it. But at the same time with 4, I'm trying to remember, you have a lot better of a chance of not opening it or not drawing this in your opening hand than you do of drawing it. So in theory, you should be able to draw in your like other cards before these, or you should only draw one of these cards. Bottomless trap. So you should draw one a hand or none a hand. So it makes it a lot easier to deck thin throughout all your plays, and then do the Pot of Greed play with Gi Turtle and Wizard Draw at the end. That way you have these, and then the Maxis you can draw into, and you have a really good chance of drawing into those because you have a lot more engine cards than you do these. And in theory, like, you never want to start out in your opening 5-card hand with 2 of these cards. You want to be able to draw engine and then go with it. So that's it for the main deck. I was running 40 cards onto the extra deck. 1 ARG token for intimidation to show people I'm better than them. This token to show that I entered in an ARG. These tokens to show you that I bought the Yu-Gi-Oh thing because, you know, if you have a lot of money, that's intimidating. 3 Ignister. I have the Ignisters like this just because this one's not ulti and I don't want y'all to know that. You go into 3 on occasion. I only went into 3 I think twice, but I liked having the option. 3 Dynaster. My friend Deuce, Mark Myatt, like testing partner for the weekend. I was running 2 and he told me like, you know, you need to run 3. I'm like, I'm running 2. He's like, no, you need to run 3. I'm like, fine, I'll run 3. Card was the nuts. I'm glad I ran it at 3. I went into 3 probably 4, 5, 6 times. Having the 3rd was broken because a lot of times your plays for Felgrand don't always involve this, because if they do, a lot of times that has to involve overlaying with a Luster, which is generally just not what you want to do. You always want Luster on the field or in the extra deck versus the graveyard. That way it's more accessible, and if it's in the extra deck, it won't get Cosmojoed. Yeah, like a lot of times you'll make Felgrand with these 2 over these 2 just because that's how it works. So like Felgrand's the nuts in this deck. 2 Magister. I don't think I'd ever play 3, but the situation where I actually kind of needed a 3rd came up like twice, but I may have just gotten unlucky. 1's Ultra, so it's gross. 1 Divine Felgrand thing. It's alright. 1 Rafflesia. This card's awful. After the new Utopia card comes out, that's an Out to Destroyer. I'm cutting this just because I'd rather spend the extra deck space on cards like that versus this, just because the counter traps are just infinitely better than this, because this, it's a lot easier to bait. Castell, good card. Devin Darwolf, good card. Abyss Dweller, good card. Fairlimp's good card. That's 14 in the extra deck. Yeah. I erred. I thought I had 15. I really did. I think I had an Emerald in there as well. But midway through like round 6, I realized like, oh, there's not 15 cards in my extra deck. I'm gonna be quiet about it and low-key just not tell anyone. And then I'm like, alright, I'm gonna go check, see like what I'm missing. That way I can just pick it up. We're all good. Look at it. Yeah, I only have 14 on my extra deck list on the paper. So, well, that happens. I guess I have all the important cards. Because the last piece, honestly, it's really interchangeable. Just the fact like a lot of people run Emerald, but you never actually go into it because the cards. So onto the side deck. this is where my deck gets really awful.
You've got to hurry. This only takes 20-minute videos.
Keep it open. Actually, I'll go backwards. It'll make more sense. Alright, wait, 3 Twin Twister on the side. 1 Rengeki for going second. 1 Treacherous for Monarchs, gonna side out strikes. 1 Exodus, they'll side out, and for another reason I'll show you in a second. Alright, and now for the goo. I side into the Dark Engine and Instant Fusions. You do this because you're worried about cards like Anti-Spell with Cosmo, and these are all oust anti-spells, and you side out a lot of the Vanilla Engine, because the Vanilla Engine's only really broken going first. This essentially replaces the Unexpected Dies because of the fact that like, it lets you bait back row. How long do I have?
You've got like 5 minutes, but you were just like, you know, eating a lot of it.
Sorry, Dad.
And the battery's dying.
Yeah, like
I still have to do his profile.
Alright, so you side out the Vanilla Engine, you side in this engine. Against Monarchs, you like this. Against Pepe, like, it's good, but at the same time, like, this card's really back and forth because the Vanilla Engine's really good too. It'll come down to if they're playing like a ton of traps or not. If they're playing a really heavy trap build, a lot of times I'll choose this over the Vanilla Engine unless I'm going first. If I'm going first, then yeah. If they side out Wavering, then I definitely side this in because even though this engine's good for dodging Wavering because of Zephyros, the Vanilla Engine's just better at doing that. Key Beetle, this card's loaded just for this. Because you have 3 extra cards in your extra deck from the Vanilla Engine. Twin Twister, standard. This only went in against Monarch. And that's all I have to say.
Shoutouts.
Alright, shoutouts. Shout out to Team Brick City. If we're not bricking, we're winning. Shout out to Deuce Myatt, my main testing partner for the weekend because Quentin Brown doesn't know how to test. Shout out to Quentin Brown, my teammate. He got 3rd. Yeah, he got 3rd, just broken. He's been with me since the start, kind of watched me grow up. This is my first top, as you can probably tell by my garbage list. Shout out to Darian Crevier. I don't really have a reason for it, but I feel like he's going to get mad at me if I don't shout him out. Shout out to Derek Moses Crockett, he's cute. And shout out to my girlfriend because she let me come. And I think that's all.
She let you. We got another Goyo Guardian.
Oh, and shout out to Yumi and Nakri. I did another deck profile of this deck on their channel, but that one's a lot more funny. So you should go check that out.
Alright, thanks man.